gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's February the 7th, 2023. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. Joined this morning, thank goodness, by Izubee Charles as we discuss the news of the day, presented by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. Izubee, we told Matt Shodell, sleep in this morning. Izubee's got this. And the reason is we have to start off today by talking about the basketball team's big performance last evening against Duke. Never trailed in the ball game, and just an absolute undressing of a very high quality basketball team that, without question, owns several future NBA players on its roster. Duke recruits from the creme de la creme every single year. They won a close game against Miami at Cameron Indoor a few weeks ago, but the Miami Hurricanes were waiting for this one. You could tell. And they were ready to play, very focused, and just a complete dominant performance. Izubee, you were right in the heart of the action there at the Watsco Center last night. Your overall thoughts?
Yeah, the headline for the story that we posted yesterday couldn't be any better. Party at the Watsco. You know, after the game, you see guys like Norchad Omer, Harlan Beverly in the crowd, you know, with the student sections, and credit to the students. They showed up and showed out tonight, sold our crowd the whiteout. And I feel like throughout the game, the energy in the arena was just insane and really powered the guys to a wire-to-wire win, you know, led the entirety of the game. Norchad Omer comes out, hits that big three that gets the crowd, you know, on their feet. And then Isaiah Wong gets a steal and fast break dunk. And that just set the tone for the entirety of the game. I think Duke cut the lead to, I believe, 7 in the first half. And then, you know, Miami goes on a 7-0 run and then just cruises to that victory the whole entire night. You know, the crowd was electric. The players were electric. Nigel Pack had a putback dunk. Who would have thought that was going to happen versus Duke? But all in all, a great game for Miami and an awesome, awesome performance from the first whistle to the final whistle by the Hurricanes at Jim Larinaga.
All right, so just so we don't get yelled at in the YouTube comments, we are going to talk some football. We are going to talk coaching search and get to all of that. Those two coaching searches for offensive and defensive coordinator are continuing at a very high speed pace, and you guys can be happy about that. I think they are slowly working themselves towards a conclusion. You know, maybe this week. I think very likely on probably both of them, but we would be just neglecting basketball if we didn't keep discussing this a little bit more. And so I wrote a column that was on the website yesterday morning, and I talked about Jim Larinaga's quest to find a fifth guy. And Izubee, I thought in the game last night, we got a really good look why that was so important. I mean, you have a Duke team that has the athletes, that has the coaching, that has it all. And they came to the Watsco Center pretty much ready to slow down Nigel Pack and Isaiah Wong. I mean, Nigel Pack didn't score a point in the first half of the game. Wong was, you know, he scored, I think, 8 in the first half or whatever. And he was, you know, he was Wong. You're not going to hold him scoreless. But he wasn't dominating the game by any stretch of the imagination because Duke was so focused on those guys. And that meant other guys had to step up. Jordan Miller, you expect him to step up. He's one of the big four on this team. Omer, also one of the big four. You expect him to step up. Who's the fifth guy going to be? And in the column that I wrote, I mentioned very strongly that I thought Wooga Poplar needed to be that guy. And last night we saw why. Izubee, you know, he was hitting 3-pointers. He was, you know, hitting pull-up jumpers, where earlier in the season he would try to take it all the way to the basket and would turn it over almost every single time. He started pulling up for jump shots, and he made them, Izubee. And then he plays great defense. And then at the end of the game, you got to see the athleticism that this kid has with like the monstrous sky dunk, LeBron James, Michael Jordan style. No, I'm not comparing him to them just yet. But it was just a absolute, stunningly fantastic slam dunk that just put a punctuation mark, an exclamation point on the victory for the night. This is 3 straight games of quality play by Wooga Poplar. He is showing signs that he is now turning the corner as he gets towards the end of year 2 as a Miami Hurricane. This is a guy that's going to have to be counted on to be a big-time player next season. But right now, he's a complementary piece that as they get towards the ACC tournament, as they get towards March Madness, they are going to really, really need. Izubee, your thoughts on what you saw last night from Wooga Poplar? Do you think he can sustain this?
Well, 100%. Before the show started this morning, I said, "Hey, Gary, I guess Wooga read your opinion piece yesterday and really showed up this game." It's an interesting fact that Wooga only started playing basketball 4 years ago in the 10th grade, and he's progressed to a Division I starter at a Power 5 school. And like you mentioned, Miami needed that fifth guy, that fifth spark. Duke slowed down Wong, holding 2 points in the second half. Nigel Pack finished the game with 6 points, and Wooga was that guy that stepped up. 7 points in the first half, 7 points in the second half. Really balanced game. And Coach Larry Nega mentioned, in the beginning of the season, he was driving to the basket, putting up shots that shouldn't have been put up. And now, you see that pull-up game is developing. You see he's dishing it out. He's crashing the boards real hard. And I think the ceiling is super, super high for Wooga Poplar. I feel like he's getting more comfortable. In the press conference last night, Jordan Miller and Norchad Omier said they sat down and talked to Wooga and said, hey, once the game starts slowing down for Wooga, he's going to be that guy for Miami when, Miller's gone, when Wong's gone, when Pack's gone. So those guys are 100% behind Wooga Poplar. And from watching him this season, Miami is 7-0 with games he goes over double figures. So tonight was that 7th game, 14 points for him. So I'm really, really excited to see what Wooga Poplar does as we head to March, when the big games start rolling in and when they really count.
You can see it on his face. You can see, he knows, like, I'm finally getting it, and his whole demeanor has changed. Now, I don't think this team's peaked yet, Izubee. I think you got a few of these other bench guys that need to take it up a notch. Okay, I'm seeing way too much. Like, Anthony Walker goes in the game, and they had to take him out very quickly. It was a disaster for the first time he went in the game. Second time he went in the game, he was much more composed, under control, made a little jump shot, made a contribution. Bensley Joseph, I think he only took one shot in the game last night. I don't remember more than one. Didn't make it. That's a guy that's I guess is just going to have to play within himself. But Harlan Beverly, it has been playing pretty good basketball over the last month. I think they can count on him. AJ Casey, threw up a wild 3-pointer, didn't even come close to touching the rim. He's young. He's a true freshman. Needs to understand he's not really ready to be a scorer yet, and just play his role. When you have to go in there and spell Omier, just play good defense, be a solid presence on the board. Don't feel like you have to throw up crazy shots, especially when there's time on the shot clock and you can reverse the basketball. So there's all these little things that we're seeing that I think show us that this team hasn't peaked yet, and they still have yet another notch that they can go to.
100%. One thing that I loved about this game too is Miami's efforts on the boards tonight. The first time they played against Duke, they got out rebounded, by 7. Tonight they come out on top with that matchup, and that's one thing Coach L said he loved about the team tonight: the tenacity, the energy, everything that they showed on the defense side of the ball, on the offense side of the ball too. And going against 2 7-footers, that's, everyone thinks that's Miami's kryptonite. Hey, we're not that big of a team, but they showed tonight they can, go up and grab rebounds against, two of the best bigs in the country with Duke's 2 centers and power forward.
All right, so this victory moves them to 10-4 in the conference. The only other team with 10 victories right now is Clemson, which has a 1-game lead on them. They're 10-3. Miami's 10-4, but Miami has a victory over Clemson. So we got to remember that. If they end up with the same record, Miami wins the tiebreaker. Virginia is sitting there at 9-3, and Miami also has a victory over Virginia. And then there's Pitt, which beat Miami, but Pitt is coming to the Watsco Center in a couple weeks, and Miami will get the chance to even that series out. So the Canes are right there. NC State's also 9-4. But the Canes at 10-4 are right in the thick of this ACC race as it goes into the final, few weeks of the regular season. And it's going to be really, really exciting to watch this team to the very end. And Jim Larinaga, you could see Izubee how engaged he is in coaching this team. He's very focused. He knows he has a good team. He knows this is a team that can go deep into March. And, he wants to make sure they are a well-oiled machine. And you could see every week he's adding little wrinkles to their game. He's adding little plays here and there. He's expanding the playbook, and they're executing those plays because they clearly have obviously practiced them. These little things are getting them extra buckets that can come in handy when the games get real close moving forward. So I love everything I see with this basketball team. The critics out there who watch the show who love to say I'm Mr. Positivity all the time. I'm sorry, there is nothing going on with Miami basketball right now to be negative about. And Izubee, it's going to be fun to watch this team over the next couple weeks. All right, let's shift gears here and talk a little bit about the coordinator searchers, because I know that's what everybody wants to know about. Mario Cristobal continues his interview process, continues talking to candidates, while the Canes Nation, many segments of it are up in arms about the timeline of these searches. Izubee, I keep saying on the message boards at CaneSport.com, the timeline is totally irrelevant in this thing, that it really does not matter whether this coach is hired, these coaches are hired Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It really does not matter. The important thing is that Mario Cristobal, as he goes into year 2, walks out of this process with 2 guys that he feels really, really, really good about, and that he can build from there and then fill in the gaps. And, a lot of guys are really concerned about this, Izubee. I don't know if you're one of them. So, do you think it's a problem that it's taking a couple weeks to get these coaching searches to a conclusion?
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that at all. I feel like this is a unique opportunity that the University of Miami has, where you kind of get to hit the, reset button on, your offensive and defensive coordinator. Obviously, we saw, both sides of the ball Miami struggled on last year. And, a lot of people weren't too mad about the Steele situation with him going to Alabama. But I'm saying, hey, this is a great opportunity to go find or promote somebody inside the program that's going to be tenacious, that's going to come with something a little different, because, Middle Tennessee put up 40 points against Miami. Duke put up 40 points against Miami. It wasn't just, hey, this offense is horrendous. The defense kind of had some spots where it was a little spotty too. So I feel like this is a really unique opportunity for the Hurricanes to say, hey, let's reset year 2. Let's come up with a fresh, look, a fresh mindset, and just take our time and find the right guys. Because obviously, last year didn't work out. So, hey, let's not rush it this time. Let's take it step by step. Let's find the perfect guy for the situation, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the season didn't go well last year. Mario put a whole organization together, and every hire is not going to be perfect. And if we're being honest at the end of the season and we're sitting there having a conversation, would you be devastated if either coordinator took another job somewhere else and Mario got a mulligan and a redo? I would have said that's fine. Gaddis and Steele were okay. Gaddis struggled a little bit more than Steele, I think. But, the players had a hard time early in the season picking up Steele's system. There were a lot of mental busts that cost them a few games. So I didn't have any problem with it. I don't have any problem with any of this at all. I'm not the least bit anxious. I think this is all positives. Yes, I am very positive about this stuff. And, I think Mario has a chance to make the program better, and I'm sure that's what he's trying to do. And I'm willing to wait. I'm not stressing out about it. So all that said, I do think that the process is moving forward. I don't think it will be too much longer before he starts, bringing to a closure some of these coaching searches. And obviously the coordinator spots are going to go first, and then he'll get to the quarterback spot, and then we'll see if there's any other little tinkering that he's going to do along the way. So be patient, everybody. We will bring you the news as soon as we can, and once we have it, we will spring into action and we will give you lots of coverage of it and break it down in every way and get lots of reaction and everything else. So let's have patience with that and move on from there. All right, we got a few more things to talk about today, but first, let's hear from our friends at Life Wallet.
Hey sis, want to play one-on-one? What about 3-on-3? Let's do it. You're not Haley. Wait a minute.
Life Wallet user not detected.
I knew it.
Secure your health information and privacy with Life Wallet. Life Wallet. Saving time, saving lives.
Did you catch one of those T-shirts that the women's basketball team was throwing up into the stands at the game last night?
Unfortunately, not. We're a little too high up there with the media, so kind of out of the reach of
the baseball players were hitting the upper reaches of the Watsco Center when they came out.
Yeah, when they brought out the T-shirt gun too, they were getting pretty close, but couldn't snag one this time. Maybe next time I'll get lucky enough for one.
Yeah, Miami's marketing department really whipped out all the stops at that game last night. They even had a halftime show. Some balancing dude that was he was taking ladders. Did you see that guy?
Yeah,
he's balancing ladders and all kinds of crazy stuff on his chin, and somehow they weren't falling off. I don't quite know how he did that, but yeah, they really did their best to entertain everybody last night. All right, Izubee, we got the continuation of pretty intensive recruiting coverage on the website this morning. We a couple more stories. We got let's see, what do we got? We got a story on Palmetto, Florida, 2024 wide receivers, Imarian Lang. He got an offer from Miami in December and is planning to visit. He updates where things stand. We have an update with 2024 Illinois offensive tackle Marquez Easley. He's added a Miami offer. He shares with us where the Canes stand now. We have recruit reaction to Kevin Steele's departure. Izubee, you've been in the middle of the fray in talking to a lot of these recruits. How do you feel? It's early. Miami hasn't really ramped up. They're probably a little bit behind because of everything else that's been going on in getting really rolling with 2024 recruiting. What kind of feedback do you feel you're getting from some of these recruits as you talk to them?
Yeah, my biggest thing I'd say I'm getting from all the guys is, hey, let's see what Miami really does in year 2. Honestly, year 1 was, hey, this is Mario's first year. These aren't his guys, but he's got his first recruiting class in. He's brought in a lot of guys through the portal. That's one thing that I was kind of surprised a lot of kids, talked about, saying, hey, I see what he did on the recruiting show of the 2023 class, but I've also seen what he's done in the portal as well. So that's exciting, guys, bringing, older guys that are going to be coming in and be day one starters and really have a big impact. But with most of the recruits I've spoken to, it's just, hey, let's really see that next step Miami takes. Can Miami take that next step with the program compared to what they did last year? And Miami's done a great job of what I believe is not just recruiting. I mentioned this last week, just not recruiting in South Florida and being, hey, we're going to get all the top guys in South Florida, but just spreading across the entire country, getting guys from California, getting guys from North Carolina, South Carolina, even New York, just all corners of the country. There's not one stone being unturned by this recruiting staff, and Miami's, I feel like, is doing an excellent job with that aspect of it.
And they don't even have coordinators yet. So it's going to pick up steam once they get the whole staff back in place. And, of course, once spring practice starts in March, you're going to have a lot of kids visiting campus throughout that next 6-week period to watch spring practice and take unofficial visits and stuff. So this recruiting thing is going to gain momentum here in the next few months. So don't stress out about that either. I know if you look at the recruiting rankings, Miami's nowhere to be found right now. I wouldn't worry about that too much at this time. All right, that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. A little bit of a tight show this morning, but we got to get back to chasing the coordinator search, and stay tuned to CaneSport.com for any breaking developments in that. If you like this show, if you like our YouTube channel, hit your subscribe button, hit your like button. It helps us with the algorithms at YouTube. And more than anything, make sure that you are a subscriber to CaneSport.com. We still have an introductory special. It'll take you to the start of the next football season for $29. And your subscriptions allow us to do for you what we do every single day. And it's hopefully everybody out there enjoys what we do, and we would appreciate your support. So for Izubee Charles, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you once again, everybody. We'll see you next time.